Okay, well let's build on the last one. I'll probably start making these a little shorter. It's not as remarkable as I might think, but I'm trying to put it all in one place. For one thing, thinking is hard. In a life or death situation, you don't have time to do it anyway, and it's a lot easier to just react. It's normal. It's healthy in most situations. But like I said before, we have this fear of data that contradicts our model, so we think if it threatens our very survival, or we think it does back in the lizard brain. So we actually just inherently fear change. It's hard to build the new model. It's hard to change your opinions. The more data there was to support it, the harder it is to change it, even if the data was bad data. So we fear change, and we don't like to think, so we don't. You really see it in social media. I do it, and we have an instant reaction. The bad thing about this is we apply this survival reaction, which is again normal, healthy. If something is charging at you, trying to decide, gee, that didn't look exactly like the last tiger I saw. Maybe this one's not going to rip my throat out. That's not very useful. So just better to react based on your experience and your model. But we instinctively apply that in situations that are not life or death. Again, social media is a powerful modern example, and it's probably what's changing the way people think, because there's so much interaction so fast, more than we've ever had before. But you see something and immediately go, okay, this is good, this is bad, this fits my model, I agree with everything they say, or it doesn't, and throw it out, and you don't really slow down. And again, most of the time, probably fine. Social media is supposed to be fun. Why? But if you're making decisions about, say, whether to get a vaccine or not, that's completely irrational and not data based and not useful. So that's the thing, is forcing ourselves to make that lizard brain work in a more complex society. The other challenge is, of course, the group think. There's benefit to being part of a group, and you want to be part of the group, and you want to fit in with the group, and you have a group that's reaffirmed your beliefs, and therefore you're very comfortable with them. So you want to fit into that group and reaffirm their beliefs too. And it's very powerful, and it's very subtle. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to answer this technical question. I'm just talking about the people involved. You hear all these things about consensus on climate change. Well, it affects scientists too, whether it's true or not. If 98% of climate scientists think climate change, what we call global warming, until they saw that's not what was happening, so they had to change the model. I'm betraying what I think. Anyway, but if 98% of your peers think something, say something, and stand up and shout it, and you go, well, I have data that contradicts that, not only is it difficult to buck your peers, but you actually don't even realize that it's shading the way, you've got an observer bias. It's shading the way you see the data, and you're gonna, this is an aberration. I'm sure you fall in, and again, I don't know if that's how this happened, but something like that could happen, and has happened in other cases, where, let's say, just a small number of scientists began to think this is what was going on, but their peers, it was a small group, but that was the only group they had, so everybody was agreeing to it, and after a while you got like 30% of all climatologists are thinking that's what's going on, and it kind of snowballs. You want to belong, you get into that group think. If you think you're not doing that yourself, again, think about your political affiliations. Do you look at every situation, or do you just go, yeah, I'm going to go, this is what my group says, so I'm going that way? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just trying to draw attention, so that when you catch yourself doing this, it's your peer group. You're trying to fit in. It's good to fit in. It's necessary to fit in fact, but it's not necessarily the best way to make certain types of decisions, or it has no place in science. But unfortunately, humans are doing science, and we have all this other baggage that goes with it. So watch out for the group thing. Be sure it's healthy and appropriate. Challenge yourself. Go seriously consider other points of view on topics that you feel very passionate about. That's one of your clues that you're doing one of these lizard brain things, is The more passionate you feel about it instantly, the less likely you are to be rationally considering it, the more likely you're to be falling into groupthink or force fitting stuff into your belief system. Most of the time, the fit's probably right. That's the insidious part about this, is that you're constantly reinforced that this worked and it was right. So when it's not, it's really hard to go, Anyway, that's enough. Probably too much.